If you haven't been to Walt Disney World since the pandemic, it's almost as if you haven't been to Walt Disney World at all. So much has changed since the parks reopened in the summer of 2020, and the thing that's giving guests the most trouble is the new Genie software. So let's discuss it. Hi, my name is Dara. I'm a travel advisor with Dream Come True Vacations, and I've played around a lot with this new Genie software. Today, I'm going to break down every component of it for you so you feel prepared for your next Disney World vacation. First, let's talk about the lingo, because there are a lot of words that we will be using that sound the same but mean different things. The words are Genie, Genie Plus, Lightning Lanes, Individual Lightning Lanes, and virtual queues. Genie is a complimentary trip planning service that's within the My Disney Experience app. So to use the Genie software, at least one member of your party must download the My Disney Experience app onto their phone. Once you have the app installed on your phone and you've created an account, you can start playing around with the Genie software. To get to this screen, you're going to click on the three lines on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. From there, you're going to click on My Disney Genie Day. Once you see the screen, you can click Get Started Now. The nice thing about this software is that this is something you can do before you arrive. You can pick the day you want to start planning for, and you can even pick the park. If you've already made park reservations, it will automatically select the park you've picked for that day. Next up, it will ask you who you want to plan for. Anyone with eligible park reservations can be added to your plans. Now here's where the fun begins. Disney Genie is going to help you create your best Disney day based on your party's top interests. It's like having your own personal genie right in the palm of your hand. This part of the software is completely complimentary. Basically, it has you go in and select everything that you're interested in doing on your Magic Kingdom day, or whichever park you're visiting that day. This will let you select rides you want to do, shows you want to see, restaurants you want to visit, and then once you finish everything, the app will tell you the best times to do those things and just move them to the top of your tip board so you can currently see what the wait times are when you're in the park for those rides first. This is one of my favorite parts about the Genie software. I like to put the attractions I'm most interested in at the top of the page, but this will come more in handy when we talk about the Genie Plus software. But for now, simply put, Disney Genie is just a way for you to plan your day in advance and keep track of the things that are most important to you. Yes, it will give you advice on when to ride certain attractions or see certain characters, but take it with a grain of salt and still check the wait times to see if that information is the most accurate for your given situation. And that's the basic idea of Disney Genie. So now, what's the difference between Disney Genie and Disney Genie Plus? Simply put, it's the new version of Fast Passes, but it's not that easy. The biggest difference is it's not free and you can't plan for it ahead of time. And unfortunately, the pricing changes depending on demand. It can be as low as $15 per person per day, but I've seen it get as high as $35 per person per day, depending on demand. This is something you're going to have to plan ahead for because it is not something you can buy ahead of time. You can only buy Disney Genie Plus the day you want to use it. As soon as the clock strikes midnight, you can start to purchase it. This timing is very important because yes, Genie Plus can sell out. It's never sold out in the middle of the night before, but it has sold out early in the morning. And you can start making your ride reservations as early as 7 a.m. So you're going to want to make sure you buy Genie Plus prior to 7 a.m. so you can get the most out of it. So let's talk about what you're getting for that price, and then we'll talk about how to buy it. First, we need to go back to our vocabulary words. Right now, we're going to talk about lightning lanes. A lightning lane is basically the new word for a fast pass. It's the actual line you will be using to skip the standby line. When you buy Genie Plus, you're going to be making Lightning Lane entrance reservations to skip the line at your favorite attractions. Also included with Genie Plus are your ride photos, as well as some special PhotoPass lenses and audio tails. Now, seems simple enough, but how do you actually book those Lightning Lane entrance reservations and how many can you book a day? To begin, you're going to go to your tip board. At the top of the tip board, you're going to see Buy Disney Genie Plus. Once you click on that, you'll see this screen, and then you'll click Buy Again at the bottom. From there, it will tell you every member of your friends and family list that is eligible to purchase Genie Plus for the day and let you buy it for anyone that you'd like. Remember, anytime after midnight, you can buy Genie Plus, and it's most beneficial to buy it before 7 a.m. The price that you'll see is actually the price before taxes and fees are applied, so just be aware that you will have to pay those taxes and fees if you're buying Genie Plus for Walt Disney World in Florida. Once you purchase Genie Plus, you're good to go until 7 a.m. If you are staying at a Disney World resort or staying at an off-property hotel, you can start making Disney Genie Plus reservations at 7 a.m. There is a bit of a strategy on which rides to book in which order. You can ask your travel agent which ones to do first, but the best advice I give you right now is to book the rides you want to do the most first. If you're still with me, this is where it gets a little bit complicated. For the Lightning Lane reservations, you can't pick what time you want to ride. You have to pick the first available time window for your ride entrance time. For example, here you can see that Buzz is available at 11:40. That means if you book that ride reservation, you can ride Buzz Lightyear between 11:40 and 12:40. If that time's not going to work for you, pick a different ride that has a different time window available. Remember, Genie Plus is just a way for you to skip the standby line. If you don't want to wait until the given return time to skip a line, you can always wait in the standby line and use your Genie Plus reservation for something else. Looking at the return times is a great way to tell which ride you should book next with your Genie Plus reservation. If a ride is about to fill up, the return time will be very late in the day. As you can see here, Haunted Mansion is almost completely booked out for the whole day, and you can see here that Jungle Cruise has already sold out for the whole day. If you see a ride that you really want to ride and you want to be able to skip the line for it, and you see it's very late like this, like 9:40, you need to grab it on your next chance that you get. So when are you eligible to book your next Lightning Lane reservation? We already talked about how you can book your first Lightning Lane reservation at 7 a.m., but when can you book your next one? The easy answer is that you can book your next Lightning Lane reservation once you used your first one. However, what happens when your Lightning Lane reservation isn't until late in the afternoon? Do you have to wait until then to book your next one? No. Disney has built in a system so that if it's been 2 hours since you made your first reservation, you can make a new one. But that rule doesn't apply until the park opens. So say the park opens at 9 a.m. You can make your second ride reservation at 11 a.m. By 1 p.m., if you've still not rode that first reservation, you can make a third reservation, and so on throughout the day. If that just sounds too complicated for you and you don't want to keep track of it, Disney has made it even easier. You can keep track of what time you can book your next Lightning Lane by looking at the top of the tip board. It will tell you exactly what time you can make your next Lightning Lane reservation for. I suggest setting an alarm on your phone so you don't miss this window, because a lot of people will be booking their ride reservations at the same time, so things will book quickly. Disney tries to guarantee that you can book at least 2 or 3 ride reservations a day when you buy Genie Plus, but if you're efficient with it, you can get much more than that, especially at parks like Magic Kingdom. Whew, so that's Disney Genie and Disney Genie Plus. But what about individual Lightning Lanes and virtual queues? What are those? Let's start with individual Lightning Lanes. So not every ride is included when you buy Genie Plus. The most high demand attraction at every theme park is a separate fee. These are called individual Lightning Lanes. How individual Lightning Lanes differ from regular Lightning Lanes is that they are a separate fee that you pay one time to ride the ride one time. Just like Genie Plus, these prices can change based on demand, and yes, they can sell out. The nice thing about these, though, is that you can pick the time that you want to ride. You don't have to pick the next available time window. For example, if you want to ride Rise of the Resistance at 5 p.m., you can choose the 5 to 6 p.m. time window. If you are staying at a Walt Disney World resort, you can book an individual Lightning Lane at 7 a.m., the same time you can start making Genie Plus reservations. If you are staying off property, you cannot make individual Lightning Lane reservations until the park opens. So if you're staying on property, you might want to have one person booking your Genie Plus reservation and another person booking your individual Lightning Lanes if you're going to be booking both for the day. You are allowed to book 2 individual Lightning Lanes per day, not per park. At Animal Kingdom, the ride with the individual Lightning Lane is Avatar Flight of Passage. At Hollywood Studios, it's Rise of the Resistance. At Epcot, it is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, and at Magic Kingdom, there are currently 2, Tron and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. However, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind and Tron are a little different than the rest. For Disney's newest rides, they know the lines are going to be long, so to avoid this, they give guests the chance to get a free virtual queue boarding group spot. These boarding groups allow guests to ride the ride without waiting in a long standby line because it breaks down the ride times into different hourly groups throughout the day and divvies them up among the guests. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind and Tron Light Cycle Run have these virtual queue systems. You get 2 chances to join the queue on a normal day, 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. To join the 7 a.m. virtual queue, you do not have to be in the park. But to do the 1 p.m. virtual queue boarding group spot, you do have to be in the park. The 1 p.m. is just a backup virtual queue spot for anyone who did not get the 7 a.m. spot. You cannot do both. Booking a virtual queue boarding group is very similar to booking a lightning lane or an individual lightning lane, but you need to be very fast. A lot of people are trying to get these spots, and there's only a certain amount that they can give out. If you're lucky enough to grab a spot, it will tell you what boarding group you are and give you an estimate on what your return time will be. You kind of need to be around the ride, be on standby to get in, because certain rides like Tron, they are very strict with their return time. If you miss your window, you won't be allowed to ride. If your plans don't have flexibility like that, you can always book the individual lightning lane and pick which time you want to ride the ride. You are only eligible to get a virtual queue boarding group spot for the parks you have reservations for. So if you have a reservation for Magic Kingdom, you are eligible for a Tron Light Cycle Run virtual queue boarding group spot. If you have a park reservation for Epcot, you are eligible for a Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind boarding group. If you do not have a park reservation for either of these parks, you are not eligible for a virtual queue boarding group spot, and you must buy the individual lightning lane to ride these attractions. I know this is a lot of information. It's overwhelming. It's complicated. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask your travel agent or drop them in the comments below, and we'll be sure to answer them for you. Let's do a quick recap on everything we discussed, and let me throw in some more tips and tricks for you. Disney Genie is the overarching software here. This software basically just lets you plan out your day and click everything that's important to you, so it will keep track of it for you so you don't forget anything. It will also try to make suggestions on when the best time to do these things are, but again, take it with a grain of salt. This is something that can be done ahead of time. Now, Genie Plus is the new version of Fast Passes. This cannot be done ahead of time, and this does have a fee. You can purchase it the day you want to use it, starting at midnight, and you can start booking your lightning lane reservations at 7 a.m., no matter if you're staying on property or not. After that, the app will tell you at the top of the tip board what time you can make your next reservation for. With Genie Plus lightning lane reservations, you cannot pick your return time. You have to pick the next available return time for the ride you're picking. If you decide you want to change the ride you booked, you can do that. You can make changes to your Genie Plus reservations as you see fit. If you change your mind about a Genie Plus reservation, you must modify or cancel that reservation, because if you don't use it, it will prevent you from making another one in the future. If you buy Genie Plus, it is valid for every one of the 4 theme parks. That means if you have a park hopper ticket, you can make lightning lane reservations at any of the 4 parks. However, right now you can only park hop after 2 p.m. So make sure if you're making lightning lane reservations for your 2nd, 3rd, or 4th park that you're making them for after 2 p.m. Not every ride is included with Genie Plus. Some of the most popular attractions are an extra fee. These are called individual lightning lanes, and with these you can pick which time you want to ride it. You can book 2 individual lightning lanes per day, not per park, and once they're made, they cannot be canceled or changed. If you have a park hopper ticket, you can book an individual lightning lane in 2 different parks, but keep in mind you can't park hop until after 2 p.m., so make sure you're making that 2nd individual lightning lane for after 2 p.m. And lastly, virtual queues. Currently, there is a virtual queue system in place for Tron Light Cycle Run and Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. These 2 rides do not have standby lines. If you want to ride them, you have to get a virtual queue boarding group spot at 7 a.m. or 1 p.m. or buy the individual lightning lane. Virtual queue boarding groups book up in seconds, so this should be the thing that you're going for first at 7 a.m. After that, you can do your individual lightning lanes or make your first Genie Plus reservation, whichever is most important to you. And that is your crash course in the Disney Genie and Genie Plus software. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more informational videos.